Well, greetings and salutations, everybody. Welcome to Open Mic here on my YouTube channel. I'm, of course, your host, John Campea. It's an honor and a privilege to have you guys joining me here on this fine Wednesday morning as we just gather together to talk about whatever it is we want to talk about in the world of movies, some television, whatever other kind of stuff is on your mind. On the John Campea Show every day, we save a little bit of time to take live questions and topics, but here on Open Mic, that's all we do is take live questions and topics. Now, let me give you a little bit of a programming note before we get started. Last couple of days, we did some Avengers Infinity War spoiler discussions. Oh my God, I was not prepared for how much you guys wanted to talk about this one particular movie. And so we had a ton of questions, despite the fact that we did two 2.5 hour videos. Well, one was 2.5 hours, one was about 2 hours and 20 minutes or something like that. Despite the fact that we did that, I still have hours worth of questions that you guys sent in that I didn't even have time to get around to. So starting today, I'm going to be putting those up. I'm kind of like companion videos to the Infinity War spoilers discussions. They're going to be called Infinity War Spoiler Discussion Part 3 and Infinity War Spoiler Discussion Part 4. It's just way too long to do in one sitting, so I'm going to have to break it up into several different episodes because we just had that much to talk about. So watch for those. Part 3 is going to drop later today, and maybe Part 4 as well, but Part 4 might drop tomorrow as well. So just there's so much to talk about Infinity War, obviously. I can't wait for us to get to Deadpool 2 and for us to get to Solo. It's going to be a lot of fun. And you know what I think I'm going to do? Well, I'll save that for a little bit later. I'll tell you guys that other thing a little bit later. Okay, so for now, let's get things going, and we're going to get started with the first live questions today. And the first one comes us from Chris Martin, who writes, Avengers Infinity War, so many surprises. Shocking, exciting, sad all at the same time. Mind blown. You know, really, look, a lot of people like to focus on what I said were some of my drawbacks about Infinity War, because I do have drawbacks with Infinity War, just like I have drawbacks with The Last Jedi. You know, I felt like there was a little bit too much going on. We never really got to fully appreciate individual scenes that were going on. I think all the characters were a little bit underused other than Thanos. But, you know, that's because there were so many characters. You felt the weight of so many characters. But that stuff aside, all the other stuff in the movie was brilliant. You're right. Laughs, cries, shocks, surprises, twists and turns, great action. I mean, it's just, there is so much in that movie. And hence we had almost 5 hours of open video discussion on the movie, and we still didn't even get halfway through it. I mean, it's just a testament to that. All right, let's move on here. Jerome Lim writes, have you considered taking an online poll of your viewers as to their location, perhaps by country, continents, time zone, etc.? I don't know if that would be valuable information for you. Well, I wouldn't take a poll like that because I would have to create 500 different options for people to vote. Or I'd have to get in like 500 to 1,000 emails and then sort through all the emails to get all the information. That's just way too time consuming. But on top of that, Google Analytics or YouTube's Analytics do a good job of kind of pointing all that information out. So I do have a resource available to me that can tell me all that information just by looking at the YouTube analytics. So you know what? Maybe I'll take some screenshots of that and share it with you guys just to give you guys a sense of where everybody who's watching with you, where everybody comes from. Because it's more than just the US and Canada and the UK. I mean, it's people from all over the world, whether it's Poland or India or Slovakia, or it's like, I'm always shocked every day about new places people are telling me they're watching from, which is always really great. But it's a great idea, Jerome. I'll see if I can pull those screenshots up and share it with you guys sometime. All right. Alexander Helmer writes, according to you, who would win, Maul or Grievous? Oh, no question to me, Darth Maul. Maul wins that fight. I have very, very little doubt Maul wins that fight. Yeah, I mean, Grievous was formidable. Clearly, he was very formidable. He had a collection of Jedi weapons, but I think Maul also could have taken out a hell of a lot of Jedis. I mean, he almost beat Qui-Gon Jinn and Obi-Wan Kenobi together. I mean, by all rights, he did win that fight. Just Obi-Wan was able to pull out a pretty sneaky move at the end and get the advantage over him. But for all intents and purposes, he won that fight. I don't think Grievous could have stood up to Qui-Gon Jinn and Obi-Wan Kenobi. So I'll go Darth Maul on that. I'll swing Darth Maul on that. All right. Chris Martin writes, I know I've said this a lot, but it's awesome to see how far your channel has come since you started up again. It's great that you are always willing to try new things, onward and upward. Well, and you know, it's really a thanks to you guys for making a online fan community, because that's what I've always wanted to do. Never really wanted to create a show, although I've made many shows, and many shows I'm very, very proud of. But what I really wanted to do was create a community. And I think between Patreon and the Facebook page and you guys here on doing the shows live and having this great live interactive environment that you guys help create is really the best thing. This is what I love. I love having a community more than I love having a show. You know what I mean? Because there's so many more benefits to community. So that, and that's not just me, that's really attributed to all of you guys who've become core members of this community, and you share and you exchange and you talk to each other, and that's what being a film fan community is about. And really, most of the thanks goes to you guys for that. So thank you for that, everybody. HV3 9000 writes, I love the spoiler discussions we've been having. Have you thought about not doing open mic, the John Campea show, or any other shows like that on the weekends, and only doing spoiler discussions? You know what? It's funny you mentioned that, HV3, because Ann and I were just talking. And she's, Ann and I, we talk in the mornings as she's getting ready to go to her real job. And, we were talking about how just stunned we were about how much everybody just, when we focused on, now granted, it's the biggest movie of the year, Avengers Infinity War, but when we were talking about one movie, how passionate everybody got about talking about one movie, right? And you guys remember the other day, I was saying this. Now, I'm not 100% sure I'm going to do this, but remember the other day I said I'm going to do a revisit review of Ant-Man or something like that pretty soon? The idea kind of then evolved. What if, instead of just doing a revisit review, what if, and maybe this is a terrible idea, okay? I'm going to trust you guys to tell me if this is a good idea or a terrible idea. And I have lots of terrible ideas. I don't mind being told an idea I have is terrible. That's fine. Being told an idea I have is terrible keeps me from embarrassing myself too much. But the idea I started to have is, what if on the weekends we do like a movie club where, okay, guys, this Saturday, we're doing, the movie club is talking Ant-Man. And then we just do like what we did for Avengers Infinity War, and we just have an open, instead of 2 hours, like a 1 hour, just open discussion talking about Ant-Man and all of our observations about Ant-Man and all of our thoughts on Ant-Man and our favorite parts about Ant-Man and questions we still have about Ant-Man, problems we have about Ant-Man, like a big wide thing like that. And then like next Sunday we go, okay guys, next movie club, next Saturday, we're going to talk Star Trek, Wrath of Khan. And we'll do a 1 hour open discussion or a half hour or 20 minutes or an hour and a half, I don't know, where we just talk about Star Trek, Wrath of Khan. And then the next week we go, okay guys, next one, we're going to talk, our movie club next week is going to be about Man of Steel, the Henry Cavill Man of Steel. And then we just talk about that. So I think I'm going to put up a poll, right? I think I'll put up a poll today on my YouTube channel. So watch in your community feeds. I'll put up a poll on the YouTube channel, and I'm going to ask you guys, what would be better? To do revisit reviews, because I've been wanting to do revisit reviews again, or instead of revisit reviews, doing something like Movie Club, where we just have an open 30-minute or 1 hour discussion about one particular movie each week. Let me know what you guys think. And then maybe say I do that on Saturday, and then on Sunday, if there's even a remotely fairly big movie out, the Sunday we'll do an open spoiler review about a new movie that just opened. The drawback of that is, like, what if the new movie that's opening is the biggest movie opening is some tiny little film nobody cares about? Well, then no one's going to be there at the spoiler review. But whatever. It's a thought I have. Let me know what you guys think. Send me an email or something. Let me know what you think. But then I'm going to put that poll up as well. Do we go revisit reviews? And there's a lot of advantage to revisit reviews. Or do we do movie club, where we talk openly about one particular movie that week? So I would love to hear your guys' opinions on that. And let me know what you think. But anyway, it's just funny, HV3, that you sent in that question just as Ann and I, literally about 15 minutes ago, were having this discussion. So great minds, great minds. All right, let's move on here. HV39000 follows that up by asking, spoiler discussions do not always need to be about a current movie. Oh, well, that's exactly what we're just saying, right? Like having like an open discussion about a pre-existing movie, be it Wrath of Khan, Man of Steel, Ant-Man, Civil War, the Avatar, 12 Years a Slave, like whatever, like big movies, just have big discussions where you can really dive into it. Because I'm telling you what, despite the fact that it was exhausting and my throat got wrecked, doing those like almost 5 hours of just open discussion about Infinity War was so much fun. I had a blast doing it. Clearly you guys were really into it, and so maybe we just continue that on. All right, next one comes to us from Master Jiang. Oh, and by the way, guys, I need to cut today's open mic a little bit short because, as you guys know, Ann and I recently moved. Yay, we moved. And I've got a service guy coming over today to tweak something on our stove, and he's going to be showing up early this morning. So I got to cut today's open mic a little bit short, just giving you an advance warning right now that when I go, okay, that's all for today, guys, and having you guys, wait a minute, why is it so short? That's why it'll be short today. So my apologies for that in advance. Master Jiang writes, went to see Infinity War last night. Good for you. Mind blown. However, on Saturday, stupid YouTube algorithm recommended me a bootleg video of Infinity War with a spoiler in the title. AI uprising is real. They are ruining my life. I mean, yeah, and that's just first of all, I don't understand, and I've lamented about this before, but it bears repeating here. I don't understand how I can try to do like a trailer reaction video or something, right? And the moment I put that up, boom, it gets flagged as copyright content. It gets flagged as a copyright infringement and gets blocked. Like within 10 seconds, boom. How on earth do people get bootleg stuff up on YouTube and it doesn't get flagged? Like, I don't know how that happens. I don't know how that works. The mysteries of YouTube are vast and mysterious, and I have no idea how it works. But that has always bothered me. It's like, you know what? In this one video, I have a picture that I'm talking about. Here's a picture, and I'm talking about this picture. And it's there. And then 5 minutes later, boom, content strike. And I go, oh, and then I got to fight it with fair use copyright, doctrine arguments, and blah, blah, blah. And eventually, but how does bootleg video stuff get up on YouTube and not get flagged? It's mind-blowing, especially when it's big spoiler stuff like that. It's confusing to me. I'm sorry you had that experience, Master Jiang. And you know what? You're not alone. I've heard from other people as well had that exact same experience. That videos in their recommended list were just filled with spoiler stuff before anybody had a chance to see the movie. So it's sorry that you had that experience, man. That sucks. We all feel your pain. All right. Next one comes to us from Murray for Us. And Murray for Us writes, after this season of Supergirl, I'm done with the show. Hasn't worked for me anymore with the characters. You know, you guys know my thing. The Supergirl show can go to hell. I mean, with the way they treated Superman as a jobber. Are you fucking kidding me? Seriously? Treating Superman as a jobber to put your character over? That was some first-rate BS. Anyway, about a week or two ago, I thought, I was on the CW app on my Roku because I was watching Black Lightning or something, and the Black Lightning episode ended. And I still had an hour and a half before the next thing I had to do. It was one of those rare breaks in the middle of the day I had. And I thought, you know what? And the Supergirl thing was there. It's because I like to be fair, right? I think I'm going to check in on the show. See what it's doing right now. And when I checked in, they were doing something like these world killers, these 3 characters who are also from Krypton or something, the world killers. And that was kind of interesting. The concept was interesting because I saw they kind of summed it up in the previously on Supergirl, blah, blah, blah. So I'm like, oh, all right, to be fair. I mean, this show can still go to hell for how they treated Superman, but okay, in this previously on Supergirl, this looks actually kind of interesting. So I watched about 20 minutes of it and I just gave up. I wish I could love the show, but I can't. And again, for the way they treated Supergirl, that show can get canceled and burn. Or the way they treated Superman, that show can get canceled and burn. Let's see. Where am I here? Sid Vicious. Oop, sorry guys, we just had the jump. Let me back up. Okay. Sid Vicious writes, Your opinion on term Oscar bait, positive or negative? Well, it depends on the person. Like, really, Oscar bait denotes opportunity for excellence. So you hear a movie that's going to star Brad Pitt about a war vet who, during his experience in war, loses a limb. And now he's faced, and then his wife at home dies. And now he's faced at coming home to raise the baby they just had by himself while facing economic struggles, physical challenges, his wife grieving the loss of his wife while trying to now take care of their newborn baby. I'm just making that up, by the way. Now there are people everywhere, John, that sounds amazing, and people are writing that down. Screenwriters all over the world are now writing down my idea. Anyway, the true use of the term Oscar bait is, oh my God, that's Oscar bait right there. As in, there is so much potential for excellence in a scenario like that. And you get an actor like Brad Pitt in a role, that is a role you could really do some damage with. And like a really complex or very human story of like blah, blah, blah. So the term Oscar bait was really initially coined in a positive way. It's like, oh my God, that concept is Oscar bait. Like that, the potential, the upside of this thing is so incredibly good that, I mean, it's going to be hunting for Oscars come Oscar season. What happened though is that some people started to using the term negatively, as in, that's just Oscar bait. And I often have I'll have this discussion and argument with friends of mine who say that. I'll go, by Oscar bait, do you mean it sounds like that movie could be amazing and therefore would be worthy of Oscars? If that's what you mean, then yeah, it's Oscar bait. So whenever I use the term in a positive manner. It's like, oh my God, this is Oscar bait written all over it. Like I use it in a positive connotation. But there are people who use it in negative connotations. So for me, it's a positive term. For me, when I use it, it's a positive term. All right. Shane Hill writes, when Anne said she hasn't seen Aliens, pardon me, guys. When Anne said she hasn't seen Aliens on Saturdays or on Sunday spoiler talk, we saw John die a little on the inside. Love the show and have a good day. So for those of you who missed it, I did Sunday's Avengers Infinity War spoiler discussion with Anne. And I know a lot of you guys got a kick out of having Anne on the show, and I get a kick out of it too. I mean, Anne works a lot, so it's not often I can have her on a video. But since we did that on Sunday night, she was here, I was here, so we did it together. But during that video, you saw a moment of marital crisis happen, live, being broadcast live, like a true moment of marital crisis. When something about my wife that I did not know got revealed live and on the air, and you saw me finding out about it for the first time. And I can't remember the exact context, but somebody brought up Aliens. And Anne said, you know what? I've never actually seen Aliens. And I'm like, how? And I believe my words were, how did I not know this? So yes, that was a moment of marital crisis right there. So Anne and I have talked, I think it's tomorrow night when Anne gets home from work and I wrap up everything I need to do. She usually gets home around 7 o'clock, 6:30, 7 o'clock. So when she gets home tomorrow night, I think tomorrow we're just going to sit down and do ourselves a little Aliens viewing experience. Now, she also hasn't seen the original Alien. That's not as surprising. A lot of people haven't seen the original Alien. And I don't think you need to see the original. The original Alien's great, but you don't need to see the original Alien to really get and appreciate Aliens. There's just a few basic concepts I need to explain to her before watching Aliens, and she'll be good to go. And I'm going to watch that with her for the first time, and I think she's going to love it. I mean, the original Aliens is one of the greatest action films of all time. Top 5 easily. And I think, and it's the original. While there's a good movement right now for finally getting some female-empowered movies going on, Ripley was around a long time ago. And Ripley's still the baddest of the badasses when it comes to that. So anyway, my thought. But yes, that was a great moment. All right. Got a little bit of time left here, guys. Next one comes to us from David Obenauer, who writes, what countries are included in domestic box office? As far as I know, when you hear the term domestic box office, that's actually Canada and the US. Now, the question has come up before, why does domestic box office, domestic means your home country, why does domestic box office include Canada? Wouldn't that be considered a separate market? And actually, For everywhere else in the world, yes, but for so long, like the release strategies for the studios have for so long been so completely in sync between Canada and the US. It's like, we release on this date. They always release on the same date. Canada and the US always release their films on the same date. They're marketed the same way. I mean, it really is essentially treated as one big market when it comes to the movies. And for understandable reasons, because Canada and the US, we pretty much share our pop culture. With some minor differences, we pretty much share our pop culture. A lot of people in the US or in Canada can watch American networks, for example. So yeah, it is Canada and the US. That's what's included in when you hear the term domestic box office. Okay, moving on now. Daryl Best Wadley writes, when will we be able to ask spoiler questions for Infinity War on open mic? I missed both of your spoiler talks. Not until after. It's the same rule for every film. To be clear to talk about open spoiler questions, to me, a movie has to finish its theatrical run, come out on home video, and be available on home video for at least a month or two. Because then, at that point, anybody who really wants to see that movie has had plenty of opportunity to see it either in theater or at home on home video. So at that point, we can start talking open spoiler stuff. And it's funny because you guys know on the John Campea show, I have people send me email questions. We take email questions every day. And by the way, you can send in email questions to john@thejohncampeashow.com and put the word topic in the subject line and keep those emails to 90 words or less. So, but oh my God, guys, like 90% of the email questions I've been getting have been like full-on Avengers Infinity War spoiler questions. Like, I can't use this question. I can't use this question because the movie's only been out for 5 days. Or 6 days. There are still many, 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 many people who have not seen Avengers Infinity War. We cannot do spoiler questions yet. So generally my rule for spoilers for any film is finishes its theatrical run, comes out on home video, and is available on home video for at least a month or two. Then, fair game. Because if somebody hasn't watched it by then they're not really anxious to see it because they've had plenty of opportunity to see it in theaters and at home and haven't. So we're at least 4 or 5 months away. We're 4 or 5 months away from being able to, on an open environment show like Open Mic or the John Campea show, to ask blatant spoiler questions. It's just gonna have to wait. We gotta be considerate of everybody else who hasn't seen the film yet. We gotta at least try to be considerate. So that's what we gotta do, man. And I know it's painful because we want to talk about this movie so bad. Nathan C writes, Mission Impossible Fallout trailer in IMAX before Infinity War got me filthy. My God, I'm telling you, man, that movie is looking better and better and better. And you know what? For all the talk that we have about what are going to be the biggest movies other than Infinity War, and we talk about Jurassic World, we talk about Deadpool 2, we talk about Solo, all for good reasons, and maybe we're underplaying. Now, Mission Impossible Fallout has never been a billion-dollar franchise, like as far as each individual film, but it's a big franchise, and these trailers have been sick good. As a matter of fact, let me ask you guys a favor. Let me ask you guys to do something for me. In the latest Mission Impossible Fallout trailer, there's that version of the Mission Impossible music, but it's in a modern song. I can't even remember it, but I just remember the music in this trailer was like, I'm in the theater going, yeah, fuck, yes, the music's awesome. And if any of you guys know a link where I can actually get that music or hear that music, whether it's on a YouTube channel or it's available for purchase somewhere, can you guys send me an email and let me know where I can get that song? Or because I love the music in that trailer. It's so freaking good. It reminds me of the Limp Bizkit. Remember when Limp Bizkit did their version of the Mission Impossible music? That song was awesome. This also sounds like it's a great iteration of it. I want to hear it really bad. Okay, next one comes to us from It's Mo, who writes, John, get DirecTV now, HBO $5. Really? $5? Oh, but that's only if you have DirecTV Now. See, I had DirecTV Now Because I'm a cord cutter. I've been a cord cutter for about 7 or 8 years. I haven't had cable for 7 or 8 years. And I've always just used, my Roku, whether it's Netflix or Hulu or all the other services. So I started playing around a year ago with all the various services that offer you live TV. Sling TV is a nice option. Hulu now has an option where you can get 40 channels of live TV. DirecTV Now has a Roku app with about 40 plus channels, like all the major channels. I eventually settled on YouTube TV. So I actually use YouTube TV. So I don't have DirecTV Now, but that's a great deal. If you're a DirecTV Now subscriber, $5 a month for HBO, that's pretty damn good. The great thing about HBO too is that you not only get to watch all the new shows, they keep all their catalogs of every show, movie, special, documentary they've ever done. They keep it all cataloged. So like you can go back and watch all the episodes of Curb Your Enthusiasm or Game of Thrones or every show HBO's ever done. It's a great value. It's a great value. So thanks for pointing out that special, Mo. I like that a lot. Adam K writes, wonderful news. Coco just crossed 800 million. That's great. I didn't even know it was in theaters anywhere. Still, the movie's so good. I went into Coco a little bit iffy, kind of the same way I went into Up. Like I went into Up kind of iffy. It's like, I don't know, this one, like an old dude with a balloon floating house. And Up is like just one of the greatest animated films of all time. And Coco, I was also kind of, I don't know about this one. And it just floored me. I love Coco so much. Great news to hear about it crossing 800 million. KHK Productions writes, will there be any more opportunities to discuss spoilers with you in the near future? We're still avoiding those questions on the live shows, right? Still avoiding the questions on the live shows, yes. I don't know. Here's the thing. I assume you're specifically talking about Infinity War. Okay, so here's the thing. I just did a 2.5 hour Infinity War spoiler discussion. I did another one that was 2 hours and 15 minutes. And I've got at least 2 more pre-recorded ones I got to do to get to all. Seriously, by Friday, I'm going to have 4 videos up on my channel of Infinity War spoiler discussion stuff. I'm game to doing more, but aren't you guys getting tired of me doing those videos? Look, send me emails. Let me know what your guys' thoughts are, because maybe there should be an avenue for us to talk more spoilerish reviewy on stuff like that. But I am looking forward to maybe, if you guys like the idea, doing that movie club thing. So, and because then maybe we can make one of the movie clubs Avengers Infinity War again, just to get more questions and more discussion about it going. I'll look for ways, KHK, for ways that we can do that. I'll keep an eye open for that. It's Mo writes. Oh, lost me. It's Mo. It's Mo writes, what if Disney bought DC Comics and film subsidiary? Well, I don't think Disney Comics is for sale. Warner Brothers ain't selling DC Comics. It's just too valuable of a property to have packaged in with their IP brand. So I don't think that's something we ever have to really worry about. Anything's possible, though. Anything's possible. Justin Welsh writes, John, you talk about our film fan community. I think the reason you got many hours of Infinity War talk is you give us a voice that's honest. Fans crave. We thank you. Oh, thanks so much, man. I appreciate that. And at the end of the day, the very best bit of advice I ever give anybody, because I talk at conventions sometimes and do some seminars and people often want to talk about, how to get YouTube going and what should I do if I'm podcasting and blah, 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 blah. And the best piece of advice, and it sounds like it's a fluffy piece of advice, but it honestly is the best piece of advice I can give, is if you're doing a blog or if you're doing a podcast or if you're doing a YouTube channel, you'll never be able to do it for a living for the most part, but even if you're just doing it for fun, you want to grow it a little bit, to develop your own little community. The best piece of advice I can give anybody is simply be honest with your opinion, because the only thing that you are going to have that is unique is your opinion. That's the only thing that's unique that you're going to have. These movies that I'm talking about, everybody's talking about these movies. The movie news items that come out, lots of people are going to talk about those movie news items. The only thing that I have that is totally unique to my channel is me. The only thing you will have that is totally unique to your blog, to your Facebook post, to your tweet, to your podcast, to your YouTube video, the only thing that you're going to have that is truly unique to your post or your podcast or your video is you. Give your honest opinion. If it's the popular one, fine. If it's the unpopular one, fine. If it's middle of the road, fine. But just make it your opinion, because that's the only thing you got. It's the only thing I have. So all I can do is always give you my honest opinion. You may like my honest opinion, and that's great. You may not like my honest opinion, and that's great too. But that's the only way we're going to get true discussion going. And if you just try, because I've met people who just, hey, John, I've had people write to me, John, I'm trying to get my YouTube channel going, but this X really popular movie came out, but I don't like it. But I can't say I don't like it or I'm going to lose all my viewers. What should I do? It's like, no, be honest. Be honest. And anybody that stops watching your channel just because you say an opinion that isn't theirs, you don't want them as viewers. You don't want those people. What you want as viewers, what I want as viewers, are people who understand that we're going to agree and we're going to disagree, and that's part of the fun. The point of us talking about movies is not so we can agree on everything. It's so we can agree on some things and disagree on some others and have some good exchanges and hear different points of view. And anybody who doesn't like my channel, just because I say an opinion that they don't share, fuck off, leave. I don't want you here. If you're somebody who disagrees with me on a ton of stuff and you embrace and love the fact that we can disagree on things and hear different points of view to sharpen our own opinions about why we agree, about why we disagree, great. Those are the types of people I want watching my shows. Those are the types of people I want in my community. So whenever somebody writes to me, because I do get these emails sometimes, and I know I'm going off on a rant on this, but whenever somebody writes me with an email like, John, I can't believe you just said that you like this movie more than this movie. I don't know if I can watch your channel anymore. And I'm like, there's the door. If you're the type of weak-minded person that you're like, oh my God, because I like one movie more than you like it, you don't think you can watch my shows anymore? Watch me cry myself to sleep. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. I mean, if you don't like something that I like, that's awesome, because that gives us something we can start talking about. That's great. But wait, you don't want to be in a conversation with somebody who doesn't have the exact same opinion as you? Really? Go watch Fox News or go watch CSNBC. Seriously, just if you're one of these people that I only want to hear people say things that I already agree with, well, then you're pretty limited. And if you're threatening to leave watching my channel because you don't like something that I like or I don't like something you do like, bye-bye. Bye-bye. I would love to have you here because you have a different point of view, but if you don't want to be involved in the conversation because we don't see 100% eye to eye, there's the door. I don't need you here. I don't need you here. I really don't. I want you here because of your difference of opinion, but if you are the type of person that you're like, no, I only want to be in conversations where everybody says the same thing I say, bye-bye. Toodaloo, if you think I'm going to lose any sleep over you not watching my videos anymore, you are sorely mistaken. And I think it's really about, and that's the way I think most YouTubers should be, because that's all that you have that is yours, is your true opinion. And the best communities are the ones who embrace differences of opinion rather than shy away or fear them. The best communities are the ones who embrace differences of opinion as opposed to shying away from them and celebrate those differences of opinion by engaging with each other in respectful and fun ways. And that's one of the things I love about our community. When I read through the chat boards and all that kind of stuff, I see tons of people with differences of opinion. They're having, really? You like that movie more than this one? Holy shit, can you tell me more about why? And having really good exchanges going on. And I love that. That's what a healthy film fan community is. And that's what you guys are responsible for making far more than me. So anyway, went off on a big long tangent on that. And I'm running over time, but I want to get through as many questions here as I can. All right, Nathan C. writes, for Movie Club, due to contrasting movies, a broad appeal movie like Jaws, Man of Steel, or Con, and a classic like Noises Off, Gandhi, or Searchers, or Godfather. Yeah, I mean, for sure. Like, if we do a movie club, we will do like modern big blockbusters, older classics too. I think we would do both if we do it at all. Then again, seriously, guys, revisit reviews might be better than movie club, but maybe movie club would be. I don't know. You guys are gonna have to let me know. Watch for me when I put up the poll for that. Let's see. Nicholas Glenn writes, tell Sam Fisher to stop hogging all the super chats in the Infinity War discussions, LOL. Hey man, if you have a question you want to send in, you send as many questions as you want. Again, all I ask of everybody who sends in any super chat questions at all is, while I appreciate enthusiasm, please don't use super chat irresponsibly. Like, I've had to talk to a couple of people who I noticed send in tons and tons and tons and tons, and I've had to find a way to reach out and contact them and say, hey, I'm just a little concerned. I mean, I love that you want to engage that much, and there's nothing wrong with that, but I am a little bit concerned. I want to make sure you're living within your means. Like, I don't want to find out that some dude who watches my show, is now strapped for money this month because they spent X number of dollars on Super Chat. Hey, I love the support. That's great, but please make sure. And I've had a couple people cut back on the amount that they send in. And I've had a couple people assure me that they are very comfortable financially and they just like engaging that way. And that's great too. But other than that, send as many as you want. As long as the questions are all fairly good. And I found Sam's are pretty good, actually. Ian Buck writes, hey, John, just wanted to give a shout out to you. I was stuck at school with a terrible migraine and your show was my wingman through it. Oh, thank you so much. But how do you know, Ian, that it wasn't my voice causing the migraine? My wife tells me that all the time, that my voice there's something about the pitch of my voice that causes migraine headaches. Maybe I'm the cause of your migraine headache. You never know. But thank you for sharing that with me, and I appreciate that. And I appreciate I could be there with you to help you through the migraine, even if I'm the cause of it. Dakota Barber writes, which do you like better, Split or Unbreakable? I think they're both great. Hoping Glass turns out great with the cast film it's going to have. I'm going to say Unbreakable. Take the ending from Split away, and it's an okay movie. I thought Split was pretty good. I thought it was okay. Yeah. The ending made it, so it took it up kind of a notch. But Unbreakable from beginning to end, I think, is a higher quality movie. So they're both good, but I'd give the edge to Unbreakable. And yeah, I'm really looking forward to Glass. I can't wait to see what he's got in store for that. Okay, last two questions. Eric Flynn writes, my fiance agrees with you on the drumming ant. I disagree with you both. Makes me laugh every time and don't like the size joke. Love you though, John. I mean, yeah, that's one of the things that came up about the Ant-Man, because you guys all know how much I love Ant-Man. I love that first movie. Love it, love it, love it, love it. So I was really looking forward to the new trailer, especially when the other day, all these stars of Avengers Infinity War did this promo spot saying, hey, where was Ant-Man? Where was Ant-Man? And then new Ant-Man trailer tomorrow, right? And I was all psyched up for it. And I got to tell you, I didn't love the trailer. Doesn't mean the movie's not going to be awesome. But the trailer itself, I didn't love. And the part that really bugged me, no pun intended, bug. The part that really bothered me was the shot of the ant playing drums. And I'm like, really? Really? That's what we're going for? The ant playing... But here's the thing, Eric. All film is subjective, and you are not the first person I've heard from that says, John, what are you talking about? That ant playing drums was awesome. I've heard from another number of people who have loved that shot. And you know what? That is just a great example of that we get to have different opinions. The one thing I will say is this, even though I don't like that shot, a number of people have pointed out, and it's true, that coming off of the perceived heaviness of Infinity War, you need a little bit of a palate cleanser, right? So an Ant-Man just going entertaining and lighter and fun and funny might be exactly what the doctor ordered. So in that spirit, maybe the ant playing drums, maybe that's a good move. I mean, I don't know, maybe. So I can see where you guys are coming from. Again, it just struck me and I was just like, oh my God, is that where we're going with this? But a bunch of you guys like it. So, hey, let's see how it works in context. Maybe it'll be part of a bigger visual joke in the movie that I'll actually end up loving. We'll have to wait and see. Anyway, thanks for the comment, Eric. All right, final question today. And then as I mentioned earlier, I have to cut today's show a little bit short, guys. David Obenauer writes, Comcast is now targeting cord cutters. A bunch of BS. I'm not quite sure what it is we're talking about, David, but I'm going to have to look into that. Yeah, so I mean, that has been the biggest threat to the big cable companies, has been cord cutters. And they're trying to find ways to really get at cord cutters. But for whatever this news story is, I haven't caught up to date on it yet, but I will very soon. All right, guys, that will do it for me for today's installment of Open Mic. Thanks so much for joining me. Don't forget, guys. Oh, by the way, a little bit later this afternoon, before the John Campea Show, a bunch of you guys have been asking me to do a review of Suicide Squad Hell to Pay. I finally got around to watching it. I will be putting a review for Hell to Pay up just a little bit later today. Keep your eyes open for that. And then, of course, make sure you come back and join at 2 o'clock Pacific Standard Time for the John Campea Show, where we cover all the movie news and all the stuff going on there. It's going to be good to have you guys here for that. And then, of course, later tonight, I'll start putting up the companion Infinity War spoiler discussion stuff, part 3, part 4, maybe part 5 in the next couple of days. There's just a lot I got to cover. So anyway, guys, that will do it for me. Thanks a lot for joining me today. My name's John Campea, and until my next video, bye-bye.